Welcome to Pilots Watching Pilots, show where we watch pilots of your favorite TV shows. Mike, what are we binging today?
Today we watched The Wire from June 2nd, 2002. Created by David Simon, who was a journalist, a crime journalist, and then Ed Burns, who was a cop for 20 years. So much time and effort went into the show. The amount of research and experience they put into every single episode is so unlike every other show in the history of television. So much so that Barack Obama said it was his favorite show of all time. So let's break down the episode and find out, was all that work really worth it?
Let's talk about the episode. It was your typical cop, bad guy, drug, mobster type of show for me. It was a very hard plot line for me to follow.
An ass ignorant motherfucker like you do on a computer. I don't know. Trade stocks and shit.
Detective who gets in on a case and talks to the judge that, hey, why don't we go after the high drug dealer? And the judge is like, oh, this fucking guy over here is talking shit to all the other cops. So now he's like in a bad light and gets some shit show job after that. And then on the other side is like the drug kingpin and how they work and the towers and the pit. And the whole thing was actually very hard for me to keep focused on.
I think you did a pretty good job of keeping focus there. I didn't think there was anything typical about this show. I thought it was very different from other cop shows. Like, you know, they go for the drug bust, the one bust they had in the show. They didn't show like the action too much, you know?
No.
It's like, it's all dialogue, it's all talking, it's all the behind the scenes playing off each other. And not so much like the action and the fake, hey, I'm a cop, I'm the good guy, versus you're the bad guy. There was kind of no good guys and bad guys here. Some of the cops were kind of bad guys, but they also, you know, that McNulty seemed to be kind of a good guy too. The way that he played the judge and played his angle and then took the heat as a bad guy from all of his friends because he knew he wanted to bust the guy on top. That was a little different than what you're going to normally see on these kind of cop shows where everything is black and white, good versus bad.
He seemed like, from the episode, he seemed like he was like a, what do they call that, a scapegoat?
Yeah.
He seemed like a scapegoat from the beginning.
Yeah, everyone was just riding him, giving him shit the whole time, but he seemed a little bit more clever.
These are for you, McNulty. This one over here is going up your narrow fucking Irish ass.
At the end of the episode, when we're left with Bubbles deciding to go inform on everyone, you're left with that feeling of, wow, this guy seemed to have it worse than everyone. He was at the bottom. There's the cops that are supposed to be on top. Then there's the drug dealers below them who are making all the money. The cops are trying to get them. But what about the people at the bottom? What about the drug users? Well, Bubbles flipped the script on everyone at the end when he was like, hey, I'm not as dumb as you think I am. I may be addicted to drugs, but you know, this war on drugs is kind of a nightmare. And with that, Ryan, I'm going to need you to call over a nice officer to assist us in having a shot.
Fuck you. I'm gonna shove one of these up your little Irish ass and this other one in your eye.
All right, Ryan, what are we drinking today?
New Amsterdam raspberry.
That's right. I'm not a fan of raspberry flavored anything at all, but I've got no problem with vodka, but you actually like vodka, so I think you should be fine with this.
I like raspberry.
All right, Ryan.
Razzmatazz.
The virtual touch, we don't touch anymore. Virtual touch. And let's get these down. That was pretty good. Attorney General Eric Holder actually at one point said, hey, reached out and said, quoted everyone, that the creators of The Wire, please bring the show back to life. Come back. We need it now more than ever. And David Simon responded with, well, we'll be happy to create another season of that show. At the time, he was working on Treme, but he's like, yeah, we'll be happy to do it. But you changed the law where the system stopped going after the poor people and the people that do drugs. He said it in a much fancier way than that, but he still said it. Your eyes are watering. Oh, the last one. Andre Royo, who played Bubbles, was actually, they filmed on location the whole series in Baltimore there. And he was actually walking around the streets of Baltimore, and a resident came up to him and handed him a package of heroin. And he's like, man, you look like you could use a fix.
I'm a good neighbor.
I know. He thought, because that's how good and in-depth he was as that character. Like, he was in, like, it seemed like, oh, you're actually, a crackhead or whatever. But he considers that he got that day his street Oscar. So he calls that a street Oscar. So if anyone gets any drugs for free, around the town, just call it a street Oscar. Ryan, why don't you go ahead and give me your recommendations? Or if you'd like to give me a street Oscar right now, that'd be fine
I
too.
recommend if you get drugs on the street, get caught, you can't tell the cops it's a street Oscar.
You can.
Whatever.
Legally, you can.
God damn it, you're gonna make me go another round.
I wouldn't watch this any further based on that shit I just watched. That being said, it's popular. People said it's good. So maybe I'll give it a chance. It's up to you on this one, though. I would lean toward no.
With Snapple, he always stole the money. Why'd you let him play? Got to. This America, man.
I definitely would recommend this show. HBO right now is showing free subscriptions to non-subscribers. You can watch a bunch of their shows, limited amount, but a bunch of them, especially since this has 5 seasons and there's a bunch of shows with like 7, 8 seasons on that list and a bunch of movies right now. So if you're not a subscriber to HBO, you could definitely watch this for free. I'm going to binge it for free. I think the best quote I saw about the show was from David Simon, one of the creators, who said, like, don't make TV just because they're letting you make TV. Don't keep making a new season when they offer you a new season just because they're offering it to you. Do it because you've got a story to tell. And his background in criminal journalism led him to make an amazing series. This is one of the most critically acclaimed shows of all time. I have not seen it, but I'm going to watch more of it. I'm definitely going to binge a lot more of it because I want to see what happens next. And I also want to see what happens when Ryan tries to land this bird.
Way to go, HBO Go. Thanks for watching. Here, kitty, kitty.
Oh, God, you got to fucking tired.
Mama's got some
All right.
for you.
He already did that part.
Kitty,
Make sure you like and
kitty.
subscribe. Mike, anything else?
Mama.
Yeah, I got something else. Follow us on YouTube. Find out what we're watching next week. Next week might be tomorrow at this point, though, because we are stuck. We are making content. We're all at home. There's nothing to do but make content.